Hello, welcome to the Lately in JavaScript podcast. Today we are going to record yet another podcast and about the latest topics. Interesting things, not all that is happening in JavaScript world, but some things interesting. I'm Manuel Lemes and with me are Latvia. Hello, Arthurs.
Well, yeah, JavaScript world is quite big to cover all the topics, so
Yeah,
pick
it's
some
pretty much
random ones.
impossible.
Yeah.
And one thing that I try when I select topics to talk about here, I even avoid talking much about frameworks because each framework has lots of subtopics to talk about. So we just cover the main topics. But coincidentally, we are going to start about the topic of a very popular framework that we cannot ignore, which is
Yeah, we
jQuery.
can
As we mentioned recently, was released jQuery 3, but there seems to be a problem. Let me share the screen here. Okay,
Yep.
it is, I don't know if it is large enough. Let me zoom. Okay, it should. And well, the problem is that in jQuery 3, the document ready function uses a deferred promise internally. This means that if it succeeds, it calls the success function. If it fails, it calls the third function. So if you do not have a handler for the fail function, you would not get the eventual errors that may have happened. So document error, I don't know what errors could happen during, well, at least until the ready function is, the document is ready.
No, it's just an example. I think the other example is more down there. Yeah, but basically they moved from their own deferred implementation to the promises, which are part of the standard, I think, now. And the problem is that originally they used the deferreds, which had this one like callback, but now they use internally promises which should have two callbacks: resolve and reject on errors and stuff like that. And they can't put it in because they would break backwards compatibility, and so every promise is resolved, and that's probably why this happened. But if you scroll down, I think you would see the code with the error. So yeah, with this code you see the text normally, but if you no, sorry, it's again more up. Yeah, so if you throw an error here, as you see, you would see a blank page and nothing in the console to it. They would not output anything because this error did not propagate to the global scope. So browser knows nothing about this error because it was still resolved rather than rejected. And I think what they actually fixed it in the new release. I think they specifically released a new release for this issue, and probably they are reporting it to console themselves because I still don't see any way to propagate the error. But this article also mentions some tricks to manage to get it working, like as you said, using a fail method, which would handle rejections probably from internal promises.
Yeah. Well, my doubt is that, well, what errors could happen? I mean, not defined by the developer. the initialization of a document? Or does this mean
any JavaScript error, like you miswrite a symbol, forgot a semicolon, and JavaScript error, it would not propagate to console. It would not display any error in the console, even if it is.
Oh, you mean like if you load some code that has both?
Yeah, yeah.
And it will give a the page would not load at all.
Yes.
So
basically JavaScript would not execute, and you would not see any error why it does not execute. So it's a huge bug, because I think every jQuery developer uses document ready function and puts all the code inside it, because then document is really loaded and they would not see any error if they mistype something or use something incorrectly. So that's probably why they released the whole new version to fix this.
So it would be an error already in the page, not something that would be loaded on demand, right?
Yeah,
not something that would be a result of calling the success function.
Yeah, no, they are in the code itself, so that you write in those.
Okay, so they have already released jQuery 3.1, which would address that by having another, I think it is a callback function called ready exception, right?
Yeah, I think they added it to provide you with more ways to deal with this exception, but by default, they just simply report it to the browser, to the console. So all code is backwards compatible. You don't have to use ready exception if you don't want to. The behavior would be still the same as it was before, because they fixed the bug.
Yeah, this is interesting, but I think developers also need to be aware of this ready exception function, so they can do something useful with it. So here it says the default ready exception will rethrow. So there is a default for this function. You do not have to define anything specifically.
Yeah.
So if there is an error, so you start seeing the error on the console. Okay, now it makes more sense to me, because I thought the developer would have to define what code would be in the ready exception.
They probably can define, but they don't need to, because there is a default for that.
Yes, exactly. Because most developers are not even aware of that by now.
Yeah,
I think maybe later.
They will be after our podcast.
Yeah, of course, because all the millions of JavaScript developers are watching.
Oh, they should.
They will. That's what I always say. They should, because we only talk about important things here that everybody should learn. And if they are not listening, are wasting great opportunities. So moving on to the next topic, it is one about one tool that, well, I'm not sure if it is a follow-up. Is ESLint is a follow-up of JSLint, or are different tools? Because I think I lost in the process. Actually, I was not even using the version to install on my machine. I would actually use the site, just pasted the code to see if it has any issues.
Yeah, and I think we discussed actually this one in some of the previous podcasts. Why not using GSLint by starting ESLint? And the idea was that in ESLint everything is extendable and pluggable, and all rules can be defined and redefined and stuff like that. And you just could not rewrite GSLint, I think GSLint, in that way. So that's why the new ESLint started. Yeah, I think we discussed it in some
So
ago.
these are separate tools, or one
Yes. Yeah,
is
I don't know if JSLint is still maintained or not, but the ESLint is what is
okay.
new now, and
Yeah.
it could be very customizable,
So
basically.
well, this is just to let you know there is a new version. I don't know if there are many important things to mention about this new version. There is a
Yeah, well,
list.
yeah, one thing that needs to be mentioned, that there are some breaking changes, and there is a migration guide which would help you to migrate to the new version, and they are now
Yeah.
require Node.js 4 and higher, which is Node.js 4 is, I think, long-term support release.
Yeah, that's what they call. I don't know. I think it was Ubuntu that started with the long-term support expression.
Yes.
This means that they will fix it for a good time while they have found bugs, right?
Yep.
That's what I got. So the next topic that we're going to talk about, also briefly because there is not much to say, is about a new release of the V8 engine. One thing that I noticed is that they have versions of Chrome, and they put a dot in the in the versions of the V8. So like for Chrome 53, there is V8 5.3, right?
It always mentions like that, right? I don't know. Maybe.
Well,
I
no,
did.
as probably it was always like that. I just noticed this
Yeah,
recently.
I see.
So for this release, what we can see, well, it's even
Some
hard to
increased
follow
performance.
all the developments. But usually those that get more attention are those related with performance.
Yes.
And here, in terms of performance, they mention like improving startup time.
Yes. We don't
And I'm
know
not
how, but
sure.
improve
Yeah,
by
I'm
7%.
yeah. So I wonder what exactly they are doing to improve performance, because I think I'm not sure if it was in this podcast or the PHP podcast. We talk about a technique that consists of creating a snapshot of the engine right before the
No,
the
so the
page
code
is loaded.
would not need to be run from cold start. Yeah, I remember something like this was mentioned.
Yeah. So I wonder if this is what they did, like create a snapshot of the engine and load the snapshot instead of reinitializing the whole engine from the beginning, right?
Maybe. It also could be those things that they mention at the start of the page, that it's a memory improvement, new ignition interpreter, which uh, which provides immediate memory savings for GTED code, just in time compiled, yeah, and reduced garbage and jank, and yeah, and also as they mention, ECMAScript 6 promise performance. They see the increase in Bluebird promise benchmarks here.
Well, I
So
wonder what they mean by improving the promise performance. It's isn't promises just like calling a callback function? How faster
yes,
then can they make it?
well, actually, I don't know really. Promise is like callback functions, but for example, there is this Bluebird promise framework, which actually works faster than native Node.js promise, and I have no idea why, but it just does. So they're
Yeah.
doing some tricks internally. And
Yeah, well, well, what matters is that they are having new versions, and with Chrome they come built in. But since we know other projects like Node.js also benefit from the V8 engine, I'm not sure if they're always up to the same versions. Well, whatever are the improvements in performance and other aspects, I think Node.js also benefits, right?
Yes, it should. They are
Okay.
based.
So moving on to the next topic, now we are going to talk about Slate. Slate is a rich text editor
No, wrong.
or framework.
Yes, framework for building rich text editors.
So
And you
basically what
actually,
provides is functions to deal with all the events and creating all the objects.
well, actually, I
Do
would
you
like
use
to.
this personally in any project?
No, not this one, some other. I'm just trying to see the code. The code. Uh, but basically, yeah, it's a framework for creating rich text editors. So, for example, in PHP classes or JS classes site, if you would want to allow edit files, which I think you do allow edit in simply in
Yeah.
text area, I think then this one would provide a little more convenient way with other. But yeah, code editing doesn't require formatting, so maybe it's better. But you get the idea. So if your website for some reason requires like rich text editor, you can one way you can get some ready-to-use library, install and use it like CK editor, for example. But on the other hand, if you want to have the most customization and branding or matching your theme and stuff like that, then it's easier to build your own rich text editor with this functionality that you need using such framework like as Slate, for example. I don't know the specific framework, but I'm just speculating from what I know about frameworks and all.
Well, I did not study this, but many years ago I developed my own rich text editor component, and it is a problematic uh, uh, project challenge to anybody that does rich text editors, because the contents of a rich text are not form inputs. They are in reality just an area that can be edited, and you need to have a hidden text area that you put whatever HTML is being sent, is being edited. So when you like submit a form, it's the text area contents that are going to be submitted. So usually you have to create an iframe. I think it is an iframe, right? And you have to keep copying back and forth between the, the, the contents of the hidden text area to the actual editable area, right?
And that is the old way. I think nowadays all rich text editors basically use content edit attribute, which allows you to edit content inline, and they just insert nodes like bold and stuff like that directly. And when you need to save, they just take all the DOM tree and use it as a string and save it. So I don't think there is
Yes.
any more copying.
Well, actually, it always had been content editable attribute. It Microsoft invented, and to make an area editable by the user. But you need to, if you want to submit that edited content to the server, you have to copy it to a text area because the content
edit input. Yeah. Okay, true.
Yeah. The content editable area is not an input, so we have to do that back and forth. And anyway, what I found interesting is it says auto markdown. So I suppose that it allows you to convert the HTML to Markdown and submit the Markdown instead of some HTML code in the text area. That's what I got.
Actually, I just tried it. Let me share the screen.
Maybe it's an option.
Yeah, so now if you see, basically, if you know Markdown, then to create a header, if I type it just the text, to create a header, I need to put hashtag, for example, second header space, and it automatically transfers it to line.
Oh, okay.
Basically so, with title markup. So it accepts Markdown and creates HTML. I don't know how it saves it, so maybe it saves it as Markdown, maybe as HTML, or maybe it's configurable.
Yeah, we don't know because Markdown is limited when compared to HTML. So yeah, I actually was wondering if there was like a button to see the underlying data that is being sent in the text area.
Like source, right? No, don't see such a button.
There should be an option to do that because sometimes you want to edit directly. That's what I did in my humble rich text editor. You have a button that says HTML. It just switches to the text area, makes it visible in the actual HTML that is being edited. And you can alter that HTML and go back to the rich text editor, and it shows what you changed.
Yeah, it makes
and
sense.
This is, well, that's what I did. I'm not sure if these things nowadays are doing it in a more a nicer way, because it's not very nice to edit HTML by hand. But at the same time, what I can see here, they do not have. Let me see what these buttons do. This is editable rich text.
Maybe some just free.
Oh, this is this is the H1, right?
Oh, maybe yeah, looks like that.
Yeah, there are some functions here that, well, there is no tooltip. How do I guess what is this? Well, anyway, what there used to be, if you wanted to format something, there was a function, a command function to format it, like bold, italic, and so on. Now, I don't know if these days they are editing the HTML directly. One thing that I remember that I did is to insert some marks, and the marks are become templates. For instance, if you want to insert a picture, the server-side code would already tell browser-side code that certain present a picture. So when it is converted from the text area to the HTML, it would expand to a picture, and actually would show it as something that is not, that you cannot alter directly. Anyway, this is interesting. I thought it was nice, this part of Markdown, because Markdown is nowadays a very popular format, and it is interesting. So moving on to the next topic, now we're going to comment about another library that is quite intriguing, I think. It is called Faint.js and Phaeton, and is from Mozilla. It says it is meant to find meaning in the web. Phaeton is an experimental framework for extracting meaning of web pages. Identifying parts like previews and next buttons, address forms, and main textual content. So it does some analysis of the page and gives some score to the nodes to determine what they could represent. Now, the curious part is, okay, so what is this useful for? Any idea?
Well, yes. If you are scraping content, you would want to parse the content, know where is the main text, where is the title, where is the button to the next part of the article, for example, and stuff like that. It would make parsing much more easier.
Yeah. This could be interesting because just a few days ago there was a guy that actually it was in PHP classes wanted to have a resume parser, and it seems there are libraries for that, there are web services for that look at a resume, probably in PDF or what could be Microsoft Word format, and it extracts information about the resume from the resume, not just the text but the meaning. So if you have, like, for instance, a birth date there, it recognizes it a birth date. If we have the name of the person there, it recognizes as the name of the person. If you have the name of the companies that the person works, it extracts the name of the company. And this is not something trivial.
By resume, do you mean just a simple text resume or more structured, like CV-like?
Exactly, it's a CV.
Yeah.
It's a curriculum. And it seems there are some services that do their best to extract that information. So I wonder if a library like this could be used, although this is for HTML. So by the time that the document is rendered, it is already HTML. In the case of the resumes, they depart usually from PDF or Word, and then they analyze the document. So maybe a solution could be to convert those documents to HTML and have, for instance, like this to give to the nodes. Although I think it is pretty hard, because just because it is written on the page, it does not mean that it is necessarily the information that you want to extract.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I think. I wonder, do you have any idea of what other purposes this library could be useful for? And why did they do it?
I don't know, apart from scraping data, nothing much. Maybe, oh, no, it wouldn't just be like that. I thought maybe making unstructured data more structured, but like more with semantics, but it wouldn't work like that. It's more like detecting.
Maybe to add semantic tags to the to documents that do not have them. Maybe that could be the purpose. I don't know. That's why I said this is intriguing. Anyway, moving on to another topic, which is also another library that has an interesting feature. Let me share the screen here.
share the screen or share the sound.
Let's minimize. Okay. That's cool. So this is Howler.js, audio library for the modern web. So what got my attention was exactly audio library for 3D audio. And here it mentions spatial audio, whether a simple stereo pen or advanced 3D game audio. Howler makes it easy to keep it all straight. So this is interesting, but how exactly does this work? I don't know. Because
Spatial audio.
Spatial audio. Let's take a look at this demo. I don't know if you can listen to anything that I listen. So if I get closer, do you listen to the sound I listen?
No, unfortunately I don't hear anything.
So what happens when I get closer, doors, the volume starts raising, but I don't know if it is because of the doors or something else. So I reach that end, but I can listen to the rain, but
yeah, I think this one in the middle emits the noise. So if you rotate it, should also feel like it's behind you or in front of you and stuff like that.
I don't know. I know when I get closer, it's make a louder noise, but it's a music. I go away, it just
fades out.
Well, okay. This was just to figure it out what it can be. There is also some demo code here for the demos. No, not the demos to run, just to. Oh, it closed. Oh, never mind. So the idea is just to mention that there is this audio library with so-called spatial audio features. I don't know. Nowadays you are not programming games anymore, right?
No, not as much as I would want to. Sometimes in free time.
Yeah, but so is this kind of thing that you probably wanted to use in your games? Would it make a difference, or probably not the most important thing?
For 3D games, definitely would make difference. For 2D games, well, we need to see. You could reuse it, but
well, 3D audio in 2D games probably doesn't make much sense, but who knows?
No, you may want to make objects feel further away and then coming into you into the games too. Yeah, probably mostly for 3D games, but I don't do 3D games, so hard to say.
Okay, so moving on to one last topic, which is an interesting, nice effect that it's also a bit intriguing in certain aspects. So let me scroll here. It's called Aquarelle. And as you may be seeing on screen, it's kind of blurs the colors. I think it is nice, but I think it is nice visually, but other than that, what would be the purpose of a thing like this? What could be the applications of this? Any idea?
If you're an artist making a portfolio, it would make a nice background for your portfolio, like photographs or drawing.
Maybe that could be a good purpose. Anyway, it says it uses the 3JS library And I thought probably you would see some 3D effects here. I don't know. Any idea?
Well, probably no. Just looking at the demos. Scroll. No, just based on one effect, specific effect of like aquarel, like watery effect. So it's not 3D exactly, but since 3GS is a rendering library, you can render a lot of stuff there.
Yeah. I thought, well, it is nice. It says there are static demos and dynamic demos. Let's look at dynamic out to see. Oh, when you scroll, it starts showing Steve Jobs blurred. Well, for somebody that never like this, it can cause good impression. So what would be the static demo?
I think that is the one that we already saw would be.
Oh, this is okay. Well, this is
demo. They mean non-interactable demo, so it's just planning.
Oh, that's why. Okay, I think it is nice. It's always, even if it is of limited use, not something that you probably use in many applications, but I understand it's more to cause a good impression.
Yeah.
Hello, now we are going to talk about the Innovation Award winners and nominees, starting from JS classes and then with PHP classes. But first, I would like just to show you that since early this year, the Innovation Award winners at PHP classes have been starting getting, being able to pick as prize the PHP elephant. And as you may see here, this is the picture of the elephant that, in this case, it was sent to Gilbert Guimarães for being the winner of June Innovation Award 2016. And we also, I'm probably not being able to find, but in other months, there were also winners that picked the elephant. And for those that have not seen this, there is this stripe with the name of the winner, and that's what is being sent to winners that pick this prize. Usually, it is the first prize that each one of the winners picks in the Innovation Award. So for those that were nominated could not pick it, next time try to be the winner so you can pick the elephant. And okay, so let's move on talking about the nominees of JS classes. Arthur, which ones would you like to comment?
So let me share the screen. Today my screens are switched, so I have problem orientating. Do you see correct screen with JS classes?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so the first package I wanted to comment on is JS Subtitle Grabber, which was developed by Andrew Stott, and well, actually by description, it's really interesting. I have no idea how it's done, but basically it extracts subtitles from the videos, and it can even make it available to download as a SRT format, which is a standard for subtitle format, I think. So basically it uses some kind of HTML5 trick to parse the video and extract the subtitles, probably.
Yeah, I think
I don't
the
know if
information
it's,
is contained in the video. If I got this right.
yeah, it should be developed as I think Chrome extension or something like that. But I think it's simple. Yeah, it's just JavaScript, so someone can create Chrome extension from this one.
Yeah, I
For
think
example.
there is a Chrome extension from the same author that uses that code to do that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Uh, and Result is from Hungary. Yeah. Oh, we all know he's quite a lot has quite a lot of contributions in JS classes.
Yes.
The second package is a JavaScript string format developed by Sergio Flores Genis from Mexico, and basically it's a method to a package that allows you format string in a kind of print format that we all know in available in C++. Let me see if there is an example. So yeah, it could look something like this. What was the original text? I'm just trying to find the example.
Yeah, it's similar to printf, but not exactly the same syntax. But I think the purpose is the same.
Yeah, the idea is
Since
similar.
yeah, I don't think there is anything built in JavaScript that provides these string formatting methods.
Me too. I don't think there is anything like that. Okay, as I see, none of them have picked any prizes yet.
Actually, they have picked, but they are arguing between them which one will pick the same prize.
Okay, I think.
So I'm waiting for their responses regarding, but I think they picked the O'Reilly book prize. So on my behalf, I would like also to comment on a few packages. Let me share the screen here. Where is it? Okay. I think maybe I need to increase the font here, right? Okay, so the first package that I would like to comment, a JavaScript MPEG parser, basically. This is yet another package for parsing files in different video formats. So the author, Dantigny Francois from France, has submitted different packages for this. In this case, it is the MPEG 1 or 2 format. Not being used much these days, but you may still have old MPEG files to upload, so it is able to extract the information from those video files, parsing the file data. So the other package that I wanted to comment is JavaScript bracket matching checker, which is a quite simple package. What it can do is it's like looking at a string and parse it to see if the brackets that it contains are matching. So if you have a regular bracket or a square bracket or a curly brace, you could pass the string and see if there is a complementary closed bracket. So that is the purpose of this simple class. It may be useful to perform a quick check on the syntax of an expression. Could be a math expression, could even be an expression of, or could be code in many different languages that use these kinds of brackets. So the author, Akoban from Armenia, sent this submission, so it was interesting. Now moving on to take a look how it is going, the Innovation Award winners ranking of 2016 so far. Anders Toth from Hungary is in first place with 5 packages and 19 points. D'Antoni Francois is almost tied with 5 packages and 19 points. He's from France. Then Juan Jose with 1 package and 6 points, as well as Zimonek from Brazil with 1 package and 5 points. He's tied with Carl Holtz from Canada. Then Till Wioski with 1 package and 3 points. He's tied with Stefan Chapman from Australia, Kioan Acoban, and Sergio Flores Janis from Mexico. In terms of countries, as you may see, the relation between the authors and the countries is not exactly the same anymore. So far, France is in first place with 6 packages and 21 points. Then Hungary with 5 packages and 19 points. Then Spain with 1 package, 6 points. Brazil with 1 package and 5 points. Is tied with Canada. And in 6 there is Armenia and Mexico tied with 2 packages and 4 points. Then comes Australia and Germany with 1 package and 3 points. And finally India with 1 package and 2 points. So this is for the JavaScript Innovation Award. With this, we reach the end of this JavaScript podcast hangout. We didn't have many topics to comment this time, but there were some nice, interesting topics to comment. So we'll be back next month with more interesting JavaScript topics to comment. I just would like to thank Arthur again for coming. So on my behalf, that is all for now. Bye.
Bye.